Right, welcome to another Far Post Header interview. This time around, I've got Mark Halsey, the former Premier League referee. Thank you for joining me, Mark.
Yeah, you're welcome, Chris. Good evening to you. And that's first yellow card of the day to you.
Oh,
Former
no.
FIFA and Premier League referee. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm on a warning. Former FIFA and Premier League.
Next one. Hey, listen, we've only kicked off for 5 seconds. You got a yellow card already. You could be off within a minute.
Oh, God, well, I don't want to get the red card before the end of the interview because I've got quite a few questions.
It's there, mate. It's there.
Oh, no. Well, I'll stay on a booking for the time being, which is more than Gary Lineker got in his
Don't worry. I've forgotten to take them out of me a couple of times. Don't worry.
Brilliant. You started your career actually as a player in the non-league. Was that a good sort of grounding for getting an understanding of the players' perspective?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it went back to my school days in my junior school. I think it's year 6, classed as year 6 now, because back in the day, you never started playing football until you were 10. I think it was 9, 10 years of age, and then you moved up to your secondary school. And I always remember, making my debut for my junior school as a centre midfield, and I didn't do very well, I have to say. And the next game, I was put in goal. And obviously that's where I stayed for all of my footballing career. And they say you've got to be crazy to be a goalkeeper, even more as a be a referee. So yeah, I spent all my days playing in goal for my youth team and school teams. I ended up having a trial at Tottenham as a schoolboy.
Okay.
Which I signed on schoolboy forms for Tottenham. It didn't really work out for me. I didn't have the dedication. I didn't have the kick up the backside I needed from a father that I grew up without having, really. And sort of I didn't have the dedication because I was travelling from Welwyn Garden City, on a Tuesday and a Thursday into London, Tottenham's ground, for training on my own after school, and then getting back late at night on my own as a 13, 14, 15-year-old lad. Done that for a little while. And I suppose I just didn't have the dedication. But if I know now, if I know then what I know now, then it might have been all different. I may have been a professional footballer. But as I say, didn't have the dedication, got released as a schoolboy from Tottenham, and then drifted into non-league, where I started playing for Hertford Town, Cambridge City, St Albans, and then ended up at my local town team, Welwyn Garden City, where I really finished my career. So playing Saturdays and Sundays, in Isthmian League, Welwyn Hatfield Sunday League, which was good playing in that, and then obviously going on to referee later on when I become a referee. So listen, I had some really good years as a player. Picked up a few serious injuries, fell out of love of the game, and then sort of turned to refereeing. It was a good friend of mine that I played with on a Sunday morning team called Wellingborough in the Welwyn Hatfield Sunday League. Very good friend of mine. Unfortunately, he lost his life late 2020 with sepsis and COVID and everything. So really, really good friend. And he was a centre half, and he was one dirty player. He was, every referee's nightmare, because I used to see playing behind him in goal what he used to get up to.
Yeah.
And some of the things he used to do with the players, and how he never got sent off, I never know.
Yeah.
And he then became a referee. Believe it or not, no one could believe, poacher turned gamekeeper. He became a referee, and a good one at that. I think he rose to the Isthmian League where I sort of refereed, but he just sort of he failed on his fitness, really, because he was a big lad, big Chelsea fan. And I'm a QPR fan, so we used to go and watch the games together. We used to go everywhere together, really. And because I love me cricket, I'm a big cricket fan as well. Not too pleased the way we're playing out in India at the moment, but there we go. Another story. But yeah, I love my cricket. I played club cricket in Welwyn Garden City for a team called Hatfield Hyde for about 20 plus years before I moved up to Bolton. Captained the first 11 and thoroughly enjoyed it. And his house, his garden backed onto our cricket square. And of course, I think it was around about 1989, that summer, 88, 89, he always used to we used to walk around the boundary, putting the world to rights when we were batting, and you're on that little boundary walk with your mates. And he always used to collar me about, oh, why you become a referee? You never know. You could have it. You might go all the way. I said, Russell, I ain't got no interest whatsoever in becoming a referee. You can stick that where the sun don't shine. And he kept on at me all that summer. And then I thought about it. I thought, you know what? Because I was falling out of love with the game. And I thought, what better? Because my brother was involved in the game. I used to referee him on a Sunday morning. And you've got, blimey, he used to give me some stick. And now he's a manager of Ware Football Club in the Premier League, my brother. So I get it in the neck all the time every week about referees from him. So this one weekend, I thought, you know what, I might take it up on that, Russ. I said, listen, because you have to do an 8 to 10 week course. Yeah. And I said, if I can learn the laws of the game and take a test without doing the 8 to 10 week course, whatever it was, then I would think about it. So he come back to me and said, yeah, look, listen, Mark, you can read the laws of the game, take the exam, and then see what happens. And I did that, and I passed. And I suppose I never looked back, really.
Yeah. So you've already answered my question there. That was one of my first ones of what made you want to be a referee there. So you've answered that with your sort of first question, answered the first one there. So you've started to then develop an interest in refereeing. You've passed the exams, things like that. Did you have any role models that you aspired to be like at the time?
No, listen, no, there wasn't. I was just myself.
Fair enough.
I always remember when I was going up through the ranks, and when I was being interviewed to get onto the Football League as a referee, there was a question. They asked a question: who have you modelled yourself on? What referees do you like? And I'm thinking, oh no, Jesus, no. I went, oh, David Ellery, and I said David Ellery, and I said, oh, because I like the way he manages, I like the way he talks to the players, and that seemed to work. And I thought, Jesus, what a load of rubbish that was I just come out with.
Yeah, he's a former head teacher or something, wasn't he? So he was.
But so. No, if I look back, I never modelled myself on anybody. I was just refereed, my way, Mark Halsey's way. And when I was playing non-league football, I used to like referees that, used to referee with a smile on their face and enjoy the game and engage with the players, but knew when to stamp their authority on the game.
Yes.
And to let the game flow. There wasn't too many of those, but obviously being an ex-player doesn't mean to say you're going to be become a good referee. You still got to work at it. And I think I was fortunate enough that I just seemed to hit it off straight away with refereeing. I suppose it's all about managing the game, managing the players, managing the event. It's not always about the laws of the game. It's about knowing the game.
Yeah.
And I think that stood me in good stead when I sort of went straight into refereeing in the Welling Hatfield Sunday League, because I played with a lot of the guys. In the Welling Hatfield Sunday when I was a player, we played together on a Saturday in our Saturday team, and a lot of us played against each other on a Sunday. So it was good. It was tough, hard graft, but very physical. But it was enjoyable, and I think that because a lot of them knew me, I suppose it become easy for me, second nature, because obviously I knew the game.
Yeah, of course.
So that's but then I was refereeing on a Sunday, but still playing on a Saturday for Welling Garden City.
Oh, right.
But then I had to make that decision because and then back in the day, I'm not sure it's still the same now, but you don't get many referees that play and referee at the same time at a senior level. So if you got sent off playing football and suspended, it's the same from refereeing. You were suspended from all football.
Oh, right. Okay.
So then I saw when I started doing well and started moving, getting promotion, getting promotion. Then I sort of had to think about, packing up playing football, because I played, playing on refereeing at the weekends, and then I was playing for Welling Garden City midweek when the goalkeeper couldn't make it. Then I had to then make the decision. I just quit from playing football altogether.
So it would have been fitness levels must also have been a part of the sort of decision making whether you carry on as a player, and if you have stayed as a referee, you obviously would have had to have you would need that fitness level for running up and down the pitch.
Yeah,
as
listen,
well.
I still went, you know, it was just on my doorstep, Welling Garden City. So I went, you know, I trained with them every Tuesday and Thursday, even though, you know, I wasn't playing. I was refereeing, I was keeping myself fit because it's, you know, the fitter you are, the quicker that, you know, the brain works. And, you know, a lot of people think that, you know, like a lot of referees think that they command that respect as soon as they walk on the field of play. And that's not the case. You get your respect with the way you engage with the players, the way you talk to the players, the way you treat the players. You know, your accuracy in your decision making and picking up things that's going on around you and letting players know that you've picked things up and you're playing advantage because you've seen a little niggle over there. That's how you get the respect from the players and the trust. And it's getting the trust of the players.
Which is,
and it's not, you know, it's managing. It's not always about, and it's stamping your authority on the game as well when needed. And that doesn't always mean to say, you know, you stamp your authority on the game with a yellow card straight away. You know, you can manage. You can manage and stamp your authority on the game with verbal communication without issuing a yellow card. I mean, I think today we see far too many yellow cards for careless challenges. And what you've got to remember is a careless challenge is a free kick and nothing else. Right. A reckless challenge is a free kick and a yellow card. And a challenge that endangers the player's safety with excessive force and brutality must be sanctioned as serious foul play and a red card. Now, you know, we see a lot of cautions for which I believe are careless challenges. And, you know, I always believe that you can manage certain situations where, you know, if it's a careless challenge or a careless bordering on reckless, you can manage that. But today we do see them just, you know, using the yellow card, and we don't see them managing or being proactive, you know, and just calming players down and talk to them and engaging with them. Some of them is just too aggressive, and I think, you know, that's a problem we get at present with some of our referees. Don't get me wrong, we've got some good ones out there, but it's the leadership and direction that leads them into the way they are at present.
With a yellow card as well, early on in the game, the players then, as I am in this interview, because you gave me a yellow first thing, you're then tiptoeing about a bit, aren't you? Sort of as a player, sort of worried that there's going to be a red, so you might step back a bit. You might not put in the challenge that is necessary later on.
Yeah, you are. I mean, listen, there are occasions where a challenge goes in. It is a reckless challenge, you know, early on in the game. There are just challenges you cannot manage, and you have to show a yellow card because
of course
players know their referees and they soon pick up on a weak referee. Now, if you're letting a lot of challenges go, and players will think, hang on a minute, he's letting that one. He's got away with that one. He's got away with that one. Oh, I'll put one in. Yeah, of course. And then that's when your control becomes under threat. You know, controlling that football match. And so it's a fine balance, but it's about managing that. It's about managing those players and managing that game.
Of course. You're obviously mentioning about players and the respect there. And do you remember any certain incidents where you felt that players should have given more respect, or incidents that you felt?
No. I have to say, in all my years of refereeing, I never come across. Listen, I've had little skirmishes with players. Sure. We all do. You know, you know, your blood boils and you feel like you want to give them a slap, but you know what I mean. But listen, when players are losing their control around them, they're looking to the referee to bring that self-control to it, and then bring the game back under control. So when everybody's losing their self-control, the players look to the referee to bring in his self-control and composure to certain situations. So yeah, listen, you know, we saw that incident with Darren Drysdale a few weeks ago. Yeah, listen, we don't know what was going through Darren's mind. We don't know what was said. Right. I know it's come out in the FA publicised what was said. I mean, if I have to say, if that sort of language was used on my football pitch, to me, then the red card will be coming out straight away.
Absolutely.
But I can honestly say, in all my years as being a referee from 1996 until I retired in August 2013, finishing up with Steve Giles' testimonial, I've never, ever come across players, you know, behaving in that way with me. Yes, of course, we have discussions on the field of play, on the shop floor, shop floor language. Of course it does. I'm not going to deny it doesn't go on. Of course it goes on. Of course it goes on. But that's what they understand. That's how they want you to talk to them. I've trained with professional players at Barn Wanderers for many years under Big Sam. Great character, Big Sam. I had a good conversation with him today. Talking about different aspects of football, and refereeing and VAR at present today. Great. Got on well with Sam. Many times, I'd referee at the weekend, and he'd see my game and some of my performances, and we'd go in. He'd call me in on a Monday morning, sit down and talk about it. Talk about certain referees that he felt that didn't get decisions that went his way, and we agreed to disagree on decisions against Bolton, for Bolton, and some of the games I refereed. So, and that's what it's. I mean, I had discussions when early when Keith Hackett was in charge. I mean, Keith was a fantastic boss. You knew exactly where you stood with Keith. Right. You knew exactly where you stood, and he would have that understanding. He would know how to manage the dressing room. For me, referees are like players. Some of us need a kick up the backside, some of us need an arm around us, and some of us need a bit of loving. Yeah. And unfortunately, at present, well, I know it because I've been involved in it, and I'm in current management. They don't know how to do that. That's the problem. Whereas, when in Keith's time, he knew how to do that because he'd been there, seen it, done it, worn the t-shirt. So, he was a super manager, and he oh shit, hang on. Sorry about that.
Right.
Me pal, I forgot. I've not plugged my charger in, so
yellow card for preparation. Yeah, preparation.
Yellow card for me. So I mean, Keith encouraged us to talk with managers after the weekend if they perceived us to have an indifferent performance.
Yes.
So I always remember a conversation I had with David Moyes when I refereed up at Newcastle, and Newcastle beat 10-men Everton 2-1 with an absolute 25-yard stunner from Alan Shearer. Fantastic goal. Great. And I sent off Joseph Yobo for denying a goal-scoring opportunity. And, David wanted to talk to me on the Monday morning after watching it. And we had a good discussion. We had a really good discussion on the situation. And, he come around to agreeing that he agreed it was a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. And ever since that day, I've always got on with David Moyes. Always got on.
It's nice
always.
And
you can have that discussion with at the moment. I think referees and players and managers are drifting apart. That's because of the leadership and direction and the protocols that the current management have put in. Now, yes, you need protocols. There's no doubt about that. But there are times, we are a football family. We need to come together. We need to talk to each other. Yeah. And we need that communication between referees, players, and managers. So it's as I say, you need that communication.
There's definitely with previous times, like when you mentioned about Keith Hackett's time, there was the different sort of styles of refereeing. When you mentioned at the start of the interview about David Ellery, he had a very he was a school teacher as well, famously. It seemed like every match that he refereed, the commentator would mention that, but he had a way of speaking to the players that was sort of like you could tell he was a teacher, sort of in the way he spoke to the players.
He certainly doesn't know the game of football because he's messing up the laws of the game at the present with handling the ball and the offside, isn't he?
I'm not going to comment on that.
With the IFAB, with David, change. We need it. We need change.
Yeah,
the offside laws are that.
Well, yes, but he had that style, and then mentioning about the respect from players, and the only time that I can properly remember some players getting really sort of very verbal and almost physical was with Andy D'Urso, the Manchester United player surrounding him.
That was Roy Keane, wasn't it? The penalty give. I think it was against Middlesbrough, it might have been. And they just sort of chased him all the way back, didn't they? And
him and Jaap Stam.
I remember that. We had Jaap Stam penalty with Jaap Stam. Was it against Jaap Stam? I think it was. I can't remember who the penalty.
Against Middlesbrough.
But I remember we had a big meeting on that situation, regarding that. I think that wasn't a good day for Andy that day.
You could see him becoming like a bit very
Yeah.
hiding away, almost as he was surrounded, and it just looked like
absolutely. You stand your ground. You've got to be mentally tough and mentally strong, and that's how you get to the top. With your mental strength. That's what listen. It's there's 30,000 referees in the UK, and we were the top 18.
Yeah.
And then some of us that got onto the FIFA list were then in the top 7 of the UK. So it was a great. You had to have something about you, and it's, as I said, it doesn't cost you anything to be polite and be kind and smile and talk to people.
Indeed. So that's a good way of me joining on to my next question, where I was going to say that during Alex Ferguson's time at Manchester United, there was the old Fergie time conspiracy almost, in that referees hadn't given a penalty at Old Trafford for so many months, years, and things like that. Did that ever play on your mind before a game or during a game at all?
Absolute not. All it was another game with 22 different players with different surrounds, and you walk across that white line. Yep. You referee what's in front of you. I can only talk for myself, and I can say, never felt intimidated by any manager whatsoever.
Very honest.
And I say to managers, listen, I'm human. I've made errors. I've made mistakes. No doubt about that. I would have loved to have VAR around, on a few of the games.
You're answering my later question as well.
but as I said, I would say to managers when they come into my dressing room with a team sheet, some referees, when I saw officials, went on for like ages, and sometimes I'm thinking, honey, I'm falling asleep here. You don't need to go on this long. Just be brief and to the point. And I just used to say to the guys, listen, you know what I'm about. You know what I'm going to get from me. Smile and enjoy the game. And then they, because they don't want to be in there. No. And I would say to the manager, if you've got a problem with me, or you're not happy with a decision or happy with my performance, come into my dressing room. Yeah. Do not come on the pitch and approach me on the pitch so the whole world can see what you're doing. Come into my dressing room. I don't mind. You're not supposed to come in at half time. I said, if you need to come in at half time, then so be it. Come in. And what goes on in my dressing room, between these four walls, stays in the dressing room. Nice. And that's how it should be. So we shouldn't see managers going onto the field of play. Yeah, listen, you've got to understand that their emotions and their frustrations and decisions cost them their jobs. And sometimes as referees, we've got to show a little bit of empathy for the game.
Absolutely.
And I think that's, at this present time, is lacking. Is lacking. And don't get me wrong, we've got some very good referees out there. No doubt, Michael was our number one. Yes. But it's the leadership and the direction and the coaching of our top guys, because we haven't got the top coaches in place. That's been at the top, that's refereed all over the world. Football coaches turn average players into good players into excellent players. That's no different with referees. No different. And we haven't got those coaches in place in the refereeing fraternity at present, because we've got guys in charge coaching referees that have never been there. I've never been a referee.
Well, we've mentioned Old Trafford, and what I wanted to know was what other grounds you liked refereeing at.
Listen, for me, I didn't care where I refereed. Every game I treat like a cup final, whether I was in the Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two. They deserve the top referees just as much as anybody else does. And I always used to think lower down, they knew you're a Premier League referee, potential banana skins, and you didn't want to get a chance at you saying Premier League, you're having a laugh. So you had to be on top of your game. So listen, I loved it. I loved football. I didn't mind where I went, and I loved every ground. I loved everywhere.
And you got the opportunity in '99 to referee in the playoff final, Gillingham and Manchester City. What was that like to get a chance to referee at the old stadium?
I was lucky enough to referee at the old stadium and the new stadium. Yeah. And 3 years into my football league career, '96 I joined the football league, and '99 I was refereeing the playoff final. It's just like it is for players. Every referee wants to referee at Wembley.
Yes.
And I was lucky enough to do that. And that was the season. That was the year I was promoted to the Premier League in 99, 2000. So it was a good year for me.
It was. I have to mention this, right? My cousin and my uncle are very big Gillingham fans, and I have to ask.
Sorry.
Where the bloody hell did you find those 5 minutes at the end of the 90?
Well, listen, when you look back at it, you look at, I mean, the 2 goals they got, they went off on, done laps of honours when they scored, didn't they, Gillingham? They were time wasting. I had a number of cautions during the game.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's where the 5 minutes come from. And I think there was a thing, a recording done on the game, and they said I should have played even more. So,
okay.
It was the way it was. It's just unfortunate for Gillingham, but look where Man City have gone now. Look where Gillingham are. Still a great football club. I went back. I don't think I went back to Gillingham till I think 6 or 7 years later, and the fans are all waiting for me. They were all waiting for me. I tell you, they lined the streets when I walk, because you have to have a long walk from the car park. It's down one end. You got to walk all the way up to the other end, where the players and the officials go, and they're all waiting for me. I've got dogs abuse, and I always remember the game against Burnley, and I come out to warm up, and the fans were evil to me. Now listen, they pay their money, Was that not? Oh, it fell out. That's why. They pay their money, and I said they pay their money so they can say what they want, but. It was against Burnley, and obviously living up in Bolton. Then I remember getting a lot of dogs. So I went round to the Burnley fans, and the Burnley fans started singing "Mark Halsey, Lancashire, Mark Halsey, Lancashire." So I give them a wave. They went, "Way!" Of course, Burnley won 3-0 that. Burnley won 3-0 that day, but that was nothing to do with me. That was the way Burnley plays.
Well, I couldn't avoid that one. That was one of my questions that I had written down, because I mentioned that I was going to.
Listen, you can understand. Listen, I'm a football fan. You can understand fans' frustrations. A referee that plays, 5 or 6 minutes, and then City come back and then progress, and look where they are now. So listen, you can understand.
Well, they
understand the frustrations.
Yeah, they went back the following.
Sorry.
Gillingham went back to Wembley the following year and beat Wigan, so they did get to go again.
Yeah.
They got.
They were open. It wasn't me refereeing.
Yeah. Well, after 99, I think they probably got good reason to. I was going to ask about the chance that you then had to referee. You then later went on and refereed at the new stadium, and but before that, you were 4th official at the FA Cup final between Arsenal and Chelsea. I was an Arsenal fan. Always a good game because we won 2-0.
2-0. I remember great. Was it who scored that cracker? Was it Ray Parlour? Yeah, I mean, a great strike, wasn't it? Listen, great. It was great to be involved in the FA Cup final. As 4th official. I remember the referee was Mike Riley.
Yes.
So it was a good weekend. It was a good weekend down in Cardiff.
What were the preparations like for the cup final? Because everyone used to say about the build up and the big day, but it seems to sort of.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we go down with our family. Went down on the Friday. Obviously, we had to sign loads of programs. We had a little final rally on the Friday evening with the local referee society. Obviously, after dinner, then obviously you get up for breakfast, and you just do it exactly the same, your normal routine. Whether you're a 4th official referee, I always had a set routine, what I did, and it was no different whether I was 4th official or a referee, because you never know as a referee. You never know when you may have to step in, or someone gets injured and you're thrown into the deep end. You're refereeing or running the line.
That happened the following year, didn't it? The 4th official had to go on, I think, in a cup final. So there's always that chance that you might get called on, as you say.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was, but you did get to referee a final a few years later at the new Wembley. But as a fan, I think I'm not alone in the fact that we missed the old Wembley, despite I'm 6'5" nearly, and it was always poor leg room, not great sight, but the new stadium is much better in the facilities wise. But what's it like the refereeing between the two stadiums, the old and new?
Well, I mean, one thing with the new stadium, our dressing rooms were enormous. You know, for the officials,
Really?
the dressing room was enormous. The old Wembley, you couldn't swing a cat. You could hardly get 4 people in, let alone get yourself changed. But so that was obviously that was the big difference for us officials, because the dressing rooms were massive. You could get 2 teams in them, so we could, it was great. So that was the difference for me. Obviously, I mean, I went to the old Wembley as a fan.
Yes.
Obviously, as a QPR fan, we got there twice in once in the FA Cup final, lost to Tottenham.
Yes.
And then we got there in the League Cup final, lost to Oxford United. So, I've been there as a fan, the old Wembley, but never went as a fan to the new Wembley. So I only just went there as an official.
Yeah, it's having gone to both. I did like the old Wembley. You do sort of get that. I think England have to win something at the new Wembley.
Yeah.
To give it something, for it to be that sort of special stadium, and I think that's what people hold dear to their memory.
Oh yeah.
During '96.
I remember walking up that hill, the old stadium. You walk up the path, and all of a sudden the noise is deafening. Makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up with the fans. As soon as you walk out, you can hear the noise, and it's same with the new Wembley. And one thing I remember about refereeing, at both stadiums, the time just goes so quickly. Before you know it, the game's over, and you just got to have a little look around and soak up all that. Soak it all up, the atmosphere and everything. It's fantastic.
But is it that cliche? Because you always hear it, people saying, "Oh, it goes by. You've got to savor the moment." It always.
You have to. Yeah.
It is true then. So.
Absolutely. It goes like that. Obviously before every game, I was nervous. Of course, everyone would be nervous. And obviously it's about I think you do everything we do in everyday life. It's all about confidence. Whatever industry we're in, everything's about confidence. And you go into the game, you start the game. You want to get that first decision right, because then your stature changes, your body language changes, because the players feed off of you. And it was a great feeling. I always used to have music on before I went out, and that sort of chilled us out and calmed us down. And then once we run out,
what was it? What did you listen?
Oh, just all sorts of easy listening music for me. I used to like some tunes, used to sing along to. So I had a lot of match day music, easy listening tunes, and a little bit of a sing song. People could hear me singing most probably.
I won't get you to do it now.
Then once that bell when that was it. I think one of them was sometimes I feel I've got to run away.
You did. You got singing. Fantastic. You did the League Cup final, Tottenham and Chelsea. That was your match that you.
Yeah, it was great. Great game. What
were your sort of overriding memories of the day? What do you remember most?
Well, I remember it rained hard. It was very wet, and I wasn't best pleased when it went into extra time, because I was blowing out my backside.
And then you get to go up, get your medal at the end, and
I was very proud. It's a proud moment to go up there and get to actually referee a final with your team, and you come out unscathed, and everybody shakes your hand, and everyone's saying, it was a good game. We didn't, our decisions didn't change the course of the game. So that's one thing that you look at today. That your performance doesn't change the course of the game. It was pleasing that it went well for us all, and went back to the hotel, went out for dinner, had a few bottles of nice vino tinto, nice Rioja, and enjoyed the evening like anyone else would, because I think what people forget is that we're human. We're human just like anybody else. We like to relax and have a beer or a glass of wine and party.
Do you hear the abuse from the fans, like when you make the wrong decision Or,
No. Well, listen. Obviously, the players scream. Yeah, obviously you hear that, and
right.
but you don't. Because you're mentally focused and fully switched on.
Yeah.
You don't really take in what the crowd are saying. I mean, you can hear. We hear today, don't we? With no fans, the commentators are constantly saying, "Oh, we apologise if you hear any bad language," and you can hear the ball kicking. That's what you hear. That's what you hear on the field of play when there's 60, 70,000 fans. You still hear, you still hear all that, but you don't hear the fans because you're just fully concentrated and focused on what's going on in front of you. Because if you switch off,
I can get away with
off.
I can get away with it then at games if the referee's making decisions against both my Arsenal team and Aldershot. If the referee's having a bad game or giving the decisions against my team, I can get away with saying a few things anyway.
One of my first games back after illness was at Aldershot. I think the 2010-11 season, Aldershot v Stevenage.
Oh, okay. I may
Was that the first or second game of the season? It was 2010-11 season, August.
Okay.
I'm sure Stevenage won as well.
It's local to you, isn't it? So, Welling Garden City.
Yeah.
I've got my programs behind me, but I'm not gonna leaf through them. But they're good ground there and good crowd. And if you did get any abuse, it wouldn't have been in bad taste.
I don't think there weren't too much abuse, to be fair.
No, we're a good crowd. But you mentioned there about coming back. You of course you had the news in 2009 that you had cancer.
Yeah.
How did that change your whole life, really?
Oh, well, obviously, I mean, I was diagnosed in the August, but I'd been suffering with it from, I think, April, but didn't go to the doctors. It was tough because obviously in January that year, my wife was diagnosed with leukemia, chronic myeloid leukemia, so she's still battling at present. But listen, it was tough. It was tough. Emotional, many tears,
Right.
For the family, and that's where you need the strength, you need the loving and support of all your family and friends to pull you through. And I was lucky. I always remember, my professor at the Christie Hospital in Manchester said, we've got a battle to say to you, but if we do, you will never ever referee again, never. So that was my inspiration to say, right, do you know what? I'm going to try and be an inspiration and battle. So listen, and that's why I think I did, and hopefully I'm an inspiration to lots of people out there. I know there's a young lad from Crewe, Ashton, who's just had his 12-year-old lad, loves footballs at the Crewe Academy, got a rare bone cancer and just had one of his legs amputated. And listen, it's our heart goes out to him and wish him it doesn't stop him hopefully playing the sport he loves. When he recovers, he's got a long road to recovery, and that's why I'd like to be an inspiration for people. And I've sent him a nice message, and hopefully we're all thinking about him. So Ashton, we're all thinking about you, pal, and we're all with you. Be positive, my friend.
It was nice to see a video of you. There's one online of your recovery. It seemed to be working, to get back to full fitness. You were working in a gym that I saw at Bolton, and you were using the facilities there. You were getting messages of support from all the players and managers, and it must have been so nice to get all of those nice words and support from.
Oh, it was, yeah. Listen, there's no doubt about it. It was tough. I think that in the Premier League were fantastic with me. The clubs, when I came back, the People's Club, Everton Football Club, were absolutely remarkable. Because that was the last game I refereed when I found out. It was just the day before I had cancer. Everton beat Arsenal when Everton lost 6-1. at Goodison to Arsenal. On the Monday, I knew I was going in to have a tumour removed. Little did I know, 5 days later, it would grow back. So, I got through that unscathed. I shouldn't have refereed it because I was really ill, but I did because I thought it'd be my last game. Then obviously I went back there for, they invited me back there to referee a pre-season friendly, Everton Chile versus Everton, and the standing ovation I got when I come out was just unbelievable. And obviously the presentation at the end, my daughter, my wife Michelle and daughter Lucy, they were toffee girls. They think they had more fun with me throwing the toffees into the crowd. But no, it was, and as many people, when I came back and I got a referee in my first Football League game. At Rotherham, Ronnie Moore was in charge against Port Vale, Mickey Adams, and there's a lovely letter from Ronnie Moore in the dressing room waiting for me. So there's many clubs that that it goes to show. That's why I say we're one big family. We're a football family, and that's why we've got to stay that way, not drift apart. So yeah, listen, I've got a lot to thank to the family and friends and the football family for pulling me through.
It is lovely when sad news comes about or people become unwell like yourself, and then you just see the support from fellow players, referees, just words of encouragement that do go a long way. That I had a friend that's poorly, and Chelsea wrote him, Lequeta, he wrote a letter. I was poorly a few years back, and Arsene Wenger wrote it. It's just lovely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you say that it's right. I have to say, with my chemotherapy and radio, I was really poor, and there were some dark days. I have to say, and there were some many tears. I just couldn't see myself getting back to fitness. And I always remember, going to Bolton Wanderers v Arsenal, and Arsene Wenger came up to me because I was in the dressing room area, and he came up and said hello and asked me how I was. So did some of the players, and firstly, I don't think he was worried about me. He was worried about my wife. He said, "How's your wife, Michelle?" He said, "Is he here? Is she here?" I said, "Yeah, she's up in the players' lounge." He said, "Take me to her now." So I took him upstairs to the players' lounge where all the players' wives and family were and friends. And in walked Arsene Wenger with me straight to my wife and started having a 10-minute chat with my wife, and everybody's just in amazement. Arsene talking to my wife, So before kickoff, yeah. When they arrived on the ground, and for me, Arsene Wenger's he's a fantastic guy. He didn't have to do that, and he did.
It's a really nice touch.
And I've texted him now. I've worked with him, and with after football, after my refereeing career, and I send him a text now and again, and he replies. So it's good.
Yeah, he was a fantastic manager at Arsenal. Changed everything for us, and
to be honest, I think he was very, very, very poorly treated by some of the Arsenal fans and what he done for that football club. I bet they wished he was still there.
Yeah, he was changed the club and brought in the players that he did that changed everything. Thierry Henry, he changed him from
great players. Great players. Had some great games at Highbury and at the Emirates.
Yes.
I always remember refereeing the Arsenal Man United, sending off Sol Campbell, who wasn't very happy with the elbow on Solskjaer, but they're the things that you have to do. And unfortunately, listen, as I say, I had some great games there, at both stadiums.
Highbury.
With me brother being a season ticket holder, he gave me some stick.
Why didn't you support Arsenal then? If your brother is an Arsenal fan?
Well, because my family, we brought up in Shepherd's Bush, East Acton, QPR, and that's my uncle took me to my first game at QPR, many years before. I think I was in the early 70s. I think I was about 9, 10, something like that. And that was my first ever game I went to. I think it was QPR Swindon. I think Don Rogers was playing for Swindon, so that goes to show how long ago it was. And then I've stuck with QPR ever since. My brother always goes looking for glory. That's why.
got a few more bits of silverware than QPR, I think, at Arsenal, but it's all about enjoying the game, really, isn't it?
Yeah, actually it is. Yeah.
So, when you were recovering and going through all of the problems that you had, and then the long road to recovery, did you ever have a target date in mind, or a sort of a time when you thought, right, I really want to get back for then, or was it just recover?
Yeah, I felt a little bit under pressure. I have to say, from certain quarters.
Yes.
But I thought, I felt like I had to get back ASAP. I came back far too quickly. My body wasn't ready, nowhere near ready. But I came back. And I think I put my body through so much, after the chemotherapy, the radiotherapy. And I think there come a time, after I think it was a couple of seasons, and when I came back, the body just started to shut down because of what it had gone through with all the, obviously, the chemo is poison, isn't it? It's poison going into your body, and it does damage some of your organs. And my professor said that would happen.
And then it was
it
was the end of your career in 2013. Then you ended at Manchester City, Norwich, didn't you? It was your last game.
It was got a fantastic ovation from the City fans. Obviously, they're going back. They all remember me from the Gillingham game, 1999.
Was it back?
I've seen many a City fan, and after that, they've all wanted to buy me a drink. And I owned the City of Manchester. Etihad. I owned the Etihad. Went home they played Barcelona. So they invited me there to referee that, and I think it was a great way to go out. Yeah, refereeing Man City. I think looking back, had Keith Hackett still been in charge, I think things may have been a little bit different.
Do you think that you would have been able to referee today with?
I think. Yeah, listen. As I say, I'm not going to criticise individuals, but as I said, the Premier League were great with me. I just think perhaps from certain quarters, a bit more loving and looking after could have been a little bit better. Let's say, managed me a little bit better. I think Keith Hackett would have. I mean, listen, Keith, we go back a long way. We still work together now. We still talk together, but. Me and Keith had our fallouts. We had our one-to-ones when we used to get together and have a little argy-bargy. But once we finished and walked out of that room, it was forgotten about and friends again. So listen, it's just you have to look to the future. You don't look backwards now. I think we're all in this now for the betterment of referees.
Brilliant. I'm going to leave it there because I think. It's been a fantastic interview. It's been fantastic to speak to you, and thank you for your time.
You're welcome, Chris. And stay safe. Hope everybody out there stays safe and abide by the lockdown rules. We want to get rid of this pandemic, and it's not been